Dear students, I welcome you back to this lecture on intersection layout. We started with this 4 module, and in the previous interaction we had started with the basic principles which are used for the design for at grade intersections. In that we have already talked about few of the elements, and we are going to cover few other elements, say safety, alignment, profile, control, etc. in today's interaction, and then we will be looking at the visibility requirements at different type of intersections, and finally, if the time permits, then we will also start our discussion on the attributes which are considered for the design of intersections. So, let us continue with the basic guidelines. Now, we have been talking about the conflict point and area, and I am taking forward from that particular interaction of the previous lecture, where what you can see here is that the different type of forms have been shown, and these different type of forms are trying to reduce the different conflicts which can be there at that intersection. Say if you are talking about this 4-legged intersection where no controls has been done and all type of movements are being allowed. If that happens, then it can go to as high as 32 type of conflicts on this, which can be categorized into different categories like diverging, merging, and the various movements which are there as crossing movements, etc. But when you go for a roundabout, then the number of those conflicting points are reducing. And similarly, in the case when you are going for a signalization, depending on the signalization, what are the ways in which it can be done, then we can found that there may be still few numbers which are there, maybe something like 8 or 10 or 12, but if they have been segregated out by way of the number of phases, then as I have shown you in the previous interaction, it can be eliminated too. So, the point here is that there are possibilities, there are different type of ways in which the improvements can be done. Here in this what is being shown is that if suppose you have this type of a right out and this through traffic, so there is going to be a conflict here, and the chances of these type of collisions can be 12%. Whereas, if you are having a right in, so there is a traffic is going in this one, and then the traffic is coming here. So, there is this type of a movement, and at the same time the other directional through traffic can also be there. So, this can also culminate into some sort of a interaction here. So, there is a possibility of 30% of the collisions when there is a right in vehicle in this case. Similarly, when you look at the bottom, if there is a traffic which is going straight and there is a traffic which is taking a left turn, so possibilities are for left out 6% as well as for left in also it is 6%. Both of the cases the values are more or less same. But when you are looking at another case that there is a collision with the following vehicle, so the vehicle is coming from the back hand side and you start taking a turn from the wrong side, because this right turning should have been happened from this side and then going this way, but if it is not being happening and instead of this is being done, then there is a possibility of 9% of such collisions. But if the vehicle is coming from here, so we have seen that this collision is coming 30%, but when you look at this is 15%. And if there is a left turning traffic as well as a right turning traffic, then together they are going to be meeting somewhere here. So, this can be culminating into 22% of collisions when the two turning type of movements are happening here. So, the point which we can note here is that there are different type of movements, or those different type of movements may appear in different numbers of conflicts or different types of conflicts which can be there, and looking at that aspect, that what type of movements are there, the measures needs to be found out. So, the same things has been shown here. So, what is being done, that when the right turning is being done, so right turning lane has been provided, and then there is a markings, and markings along with that there are lights are also being used, that at what time this vehicle is allowed to move and take a turn. So, if these vehicles are at far off, then this can give a green and therefore, the vehicle can take a turn. So, the combination of the two things has been looked at here. Okay. Here the controls have been tried in terms of the markings which have been done on the pavement surface itself. In this one what you can see is that some combinations have been tried. So, there is a right turning lane Okay, so there is the channelization which is there. So, it allows the left turning and the through traffic, we are getting separated out. Here there is a left turning and there is a traffic which can come from this side. So, have been separated out a bit. Then this marking has been done with say a give way, that means this traffic which is coming, because there is a turning traffic coming from here. So, they should stop, the vehicle should stop here and see if the opportunity is there, then only that should go. Similarly, that is being provided here. There is a median, and that median is trying to reduce the width here and is being flared for the free left turn. So, all of these things have been done along with the pavement markings and the signs, and thus we are trying to make it a better intersection. Now, another aspect which needs to be looked at is the safety. Now, when we are talking about safety, safety can be defined in terms of the various types of crashes, their numbers and the intensity. So, along with that we can write here the types too. So, these are the three things in which we can say. So, these type of crashes which are happening in so many numbers and with an intensity where it is happening either as a minor injury or major injury or a fatality taking place because of a big hazardous interaction. So, there are these different things, and then along with that we need to know and we need to identify that what are the locations at which these different type of crashes are taking place, and this will give an idea that this is a particular location which is to be taken at priority for the improvement, and then we start looking at that what are the various causes and accordingly what can be the remedial measures. Now, there is a relationship which is being given between a crash frequency per year and the traffic volume which may be there on a major and a minor route, and the relationship is being shown here, which is nothing but C is equals to A divided by the under root of the multiplication of capital Q and small q. Now, here A is the number of crashes in a year. So, this is data which is available. So, you can get it from say police department, and then there is a traffic volume which is on major or minor route, and this traffic volume is being talked in terms of daily traffic and being used here as Q and Q in thousands vehicles. That means, if we are talking about 30,000 vehicles per day. So, we are using that q or small q as 30. So, that is the way the values are going to be used in this equation, and that will give you a crash frequency. Now, based on this crash frequency, wherever the higher frequency is there, we have to take that particular intersection or a stretch at a priority for improvement, and then the rest of the things can be taken in order. Now, what are the possibilities which can be done here? Say we can eliminate the higher trafficked side road. So, a lot of traffic which is coming on a side road, and this particular thing has been observed that this may cause crashes to as high as 30% on the rural areas. So, that is one possibility. So, what we can try to do is that whatever this traffic which is coming from a side road, because this traffic will be going straight left and right, can we segregate these particular movements and reduce the number of such conflicting events which can be happening at one particular location, and that is what is being talked, that can we stagger it out. Say we have this alignment and the traffic is going straight like this. So, there is a conflict in this form, there is a traffic coming from this direction and this direction, there is a traffic which is going in this and as well as this one. The whole of the things are happening here. Now, what we have done is we have taken this profile here. So, the left turning has been brought at this location, and then there is a straight, that means that we are going for a staggered condition. So, we are going right and then left, and that is how type of conflict has been reduced here, and there is a no such conflicts otherwise are here at this one other than this traffic which is taking a turn here. So, this one conflict can be there. So, the total pattern of conflicts has been changed, their locations has been changed, and once these type of things are happening, then driver has to focus only on one or two maneuvers and not on so many maneuvers which otherwise are happening at that and creating a confusion in his or her mind. So, if we try to do this, then it has been observed that it may cause a reduction in crashes by say 60%. So, in the first case it may reduce the crashes by 30%, in another case by 60%, and there can be different other controls too in the urban areas, like access control is there. So, we are not providing an access to a side road. So, this is a main highway, there is a side road here. So, what we can say is that we are not allowing the traffic to go to take a turn in this direction. So, that is being closed and this traffic has to go here, and finally, at some location there can be a U-turning being provided by way of the provision of a right turning lane. So, some such controls can be there, or this is totally being blocked and has been brought to another location where we may have an opportunity for further type of provisions. Parking controls, like if we are allowing the vehicles to park here at the side of the road, then this is reducing the width of the carriageway and there is going to be a lot of choking in this area, the congestion may be there. So, we can also take care of this and remove this particular type of parking, or the land development controls can be there, because these are attracting the type of traffic. So, in this case, if we can control the things, or we can take them a bit away from the main highway and provide a frontage road in between and a service road in between, then again there is a possibility that the safety at that particular section can be improved. Now, just an example which is there in this particular case, what happens here is that there is a traffic which is moving this direction as well as this direction, and this is a culvert, and just at the end of the culvert there is a crossroad. Okay, so this is a sort of a hidden crossroad, because this is not otherwise visible if you are standing somewhere here away from this particular culvert, and there is no such signs or markings being provided, and that is the reason if somebody goes in a high speed at this point, then there is a possibility of hitting the traffic which is coming on a crossroad. Here you can see another case that which is mostly happening, that you have provided a flyover in a city and there is a crossing road. Now, good channelizations has been done, segregation has been done in the sense that there is a left turning and this traffic is coming from this direction. So, those things have been tried, but what exactly is happening is that there is a total blind corner at this point. So, the traffic which is coming from this direction and there is a traffic which is coming out of it, there is no such visibility and there is a possibility of a hit in this area. So, this is another type of thing which has to be taken care of. Now, let us talk about the another point here which is related with the alignment and profile. Now, what it says is that when you have the two crossing roads, then these two crossing roads should cross each other at right angles as far as possible, and this angle should not be less than 60 degrees. If it is less than 60 degrees, we need to take care of for a realignment, but otherwise there is no requirement. So, it gives you a window of 60 to 90 degrees. Then whatever intersection area is there, it should be as flat as possible. It should not happen that there is a road going in this form and then we say that this is at grade and there is another road which is also at grade. So, at this point, if this type of crossing has to be provided, then the crossing should be flatter and it should provide a visibility on both the sides of the traffic which is there on the crossroad, and that is how the safety can be ensured. Then these intersections, they should not appear if there is a sharp horizontal curve or there is a grade change in excess of 2% on a multi-lane highways or 3% on other highways, but in no case it should be beyond 6%. So, these grade change conditions are also being defined. There should not be an intersection of a major road with a multi-lane highway which has narrow medians. This is another category, another case. So, you have multi-lane highways where narrow medians are there, minor road is coming on it. So, if it just has the traffic on this fast moving lanes, then this is again a hazardous situation. Or if there is a curve at that connectivity, and then also it is going to be a problem, and specifically it becomes more problem when it has a certain gradient. So, the grade adjustments needs to be done in such cases. Then another, in the same direction, when we are talking about this grade changes and grade adjustments, then what we are saying is that the profile of the minor road has to suit the grade line of the major road if it is carried across the intersection area. So, if the road is crossing like this, but in the plan, this is for a plan, but if elevation it is happening in this way and then it is crossing this road. So, we have to adjust this grade line here. So, what are the ways in which these grade lines can be adjusted? That is what we are going to also see in maybe one or the two sketches or the photographs. The changes from one grade to another grade should be gradual. On unchannelized intersections catering to low speed traffic and stop signs, the crown of the two roads shall be merged, giving consideration to drainage, etc. So, that is another thing which needs to be taken care of. It may happen that say we are talking about the crown like this, and whatever is the slope, and if there is a road which is coming from this side as a minor road, then with respect to this crown that this profile can be adjusted, so that whatever is the water is going to be there, it drains off easily. Side distances has to be taken care of, and most of the cases side distance which we are talking is an intermediate side distance at an intersection. The design speed for different elements of an intersection, I talked about this few slides back and in the previous interaction. So, it should be 60% of the approach speed, but it is not the same for each and every case. We are going to look at few more things in this direction. This is one case, you can keep it in mind. Then in the case of REMS, it should not be less than 40 kilometers per hour. So, most of the time we are designing for 40 or 50 kilometers per hour speed. Then design vehicle for an intersection on a highway, it is considered as a semi trailer combination, and this semi trailer combination will give you an idea about that what type of turnings needs to be designed, because you have these two vehicles or two bodies which have been maybe connected here. So, here you can see a few of such examples that there was a profile like this and having a crossroad here. So, as we talked about that, as far as possible the roads should cross each other at right angles. So, that is what we have tried to ensure at this point. So, we have made a small change. So, the traffic which is coming from here some distance ahead of this crossing itself, the profile has been made such. Now, the visibility is there up to this point, as well as the visibility is going to be there for this. So, this is the total area which is going to be visible on the basis of this adjustment. Similarly, here there is another adjustment. We have again a crossing road here. So, this has been turned and the crossing has been provided here and become tangential at this one. So, then depending on what type of possibilities are there, what type of developments are there, how much open areas are available, whether there is a requirement of acquiring a land so as to make these type of corrections or adjustments, decisions will be differing in different environments. This is another case being shown. Here what is being shown, it is a staggered crossing. So, one crossing is being created here and another on the other side, and they are again being made 90 degrees. And then if we talk here, so it is going to be a case of right left staggered crossing, which is a good type of a crossing. Here also the same thing is being done, but then what we can see is that in this case, if the traffic is coming from here has to go other side, so it becomes a left right case rather than a right left case, but then there is no other possibility in this one. So, it has to be done in this way, or otherwise this traffic has to be converted in this direction. Similarly, here also the traffic is being taken. So, this connectivity has been here. Now, we have provided the turning on this side. So, left turning is going to be there, as well as the traffic can come from this direction, and this traffic is moving in the other. So, some such changes are helping us in segregating the conflicting points also. So, here what we can also see is that there is a major road here, and then it talks about the profiles, and these profiles needs to be adjusted. So, there is a grade between minus 0.5% and 3% here. So, basically so that sort of changeover which is there has to be ensured that within this 10 meters at least beyond the carriageway of the main highway, we should have a smoothened profile. So, you can see the same thing here, there is a main carriageway here and there is a side road which is coming at grade. So, this is the type of a situation which is happening. Now, if the vehicle is here, now there is no visibility of the vehicle which is moving at this point. So, this visibility is not there. So, when this visibility is not there, what is being done is that the profile has been made straight at this one, going with the grade of this camber which is coming on this. That is what we talked about, when this type of a crossroad comes and it is also going to the other side, then the grade of the minor road has to be adjusted and the crowns has to be adjusted with respect to the main highway. So, we first of all do that, and this is being provided with respect to the amount of drainage which is going to be there. At the minimum level it is like 0.5%, and then the gradient can be maintained up to certain distance. So, that is how the improvement is being done in these type of things. There is another example here where you can see is that there is a road which is taking a turn in this direction and there is a side road. Now, how to do the adjustment of the profiles. So, what happens is when you are talking about this, then this is having the super elevation in this form. So, the outer edge is being raised with respect to inner edge. Now, when this is being done, so the slope is going towards the side road, and when this slope is going this way, then that has been maintained. So, that now you have a continuous profile, then there is no such kink at this level. Now, the right hand side when you look at, so this is talking about another case where the profile of the curve is this way. Now, when the profile of the curve is this way, it means it is being raised here. So, this becomes outer edge and this become inner edge, and the outer edge is going a bit up, and when a side road is coming from this way, then how to adjust it. So, what is being done is that this outer edge is being taken for some distance away from the edge of the main carriageway, and then the slope of the side road is being maintained. Now, another thing which is being done is the provision of this island which is segregating the traffic, two directional traffic, one which is getting into the main highway, another which is coming out of the main highway on the side road. So, that is also a thing which is being done, so that the safety is also ensured here further. Where these are few other examples where again the alignment was like this, but it has been made in this form, and then the connectivity has been provided here. So, there is one connectivity here, there is another connectivity and the third connectivity, and this is helping actually again in the segregation of the amount of turning movements. So, we have to first of all see that what is the amount of one type of a movement from one leg, and then looking at that what are the potential of the crashes or the conflicts which are going to be arising out of it, we try to segregate them out. Here also you can see that the initial profile is like this and like this. So, it has now been made in this type of an X pattern, and this X pattern is being provided with the channelizations, with the medians on these sides, and then on this particular side, and there is a the river also. So, the culverts are also being provided, and a wider crossing has been provided for ensure the smooth movements. Now, when you come to the controls can be on different type of things. We did talk about few of the things already, that it is on the relative speed, it is on the path of the vehicles. We have seen different examples, we can also be utilize those here. The area of conflict, we can use different type of control devices, we can use the locations where the crossings can be provided, or it can be on the turning movements or the realignment of the crossing paths, the change in the geometrics, the illumination at the intersections or of the approach areas. So, these are different type of things which can be done, and in one or the other way we have discussed all of these points in the previous one. So, you can kindly take forward those discussions and try to understand that how these are going to help you out in having a good design. So, here you can see the different controls are being provided in terms of like this is a change in the path. Here we have the signalizations, and we have the markings, Here we can see the channelization. So, the channelization, if we look at in terms of the movements in our country, so we have this directional movement. So, the free left is there, the straight movement is there. The traffic which is coming from this direction can take again a left turn free in this form, and if it has to go straight, then this is the way it is coming, and then it can take this path so as to get merged and get into this direction. Similar traffic from here is being provided in this way. So, at this level itself we have tried to segregate them out by way of designs, and here there is a median at this point, there is a median here. Okay, so that is the way the things can be looked at by way of the channelization in this case. Now, when you are looking at these devices also which needs to be used, then we have to identify the suitable location where the devices can be placed. So, this can be and when you are looking at these locations, we have talked about the road signs, we have talked about their placement, we have talked about the distances at which they are going to be placed. So, the point here is that they should try to give an advance notice of what is happening ahead, and here in this case you are on an approach to an intersection. So, that needs to be told. So, we say that there is a crossroad ahead or there is a T intersection ahead, etc., and it should direct the drivers into an appropriate lane, and if they are in an appropriate lane, then diverging, merging, all those crossing movements, etc., will become more smoother. It identifies the routes and directions, show the distances to destinations, and provide other information which can be important to the drivers to follow and keep themselves safe. So, here in these sketches what you can see is that there are different type of roads. There is a major road versus a major road on a highway. So, on a highway two roads are crossing each other, that is why there are signs, information signs which are giving an information about the destinations along with their distances at this particular point. They are also defining that there is a crossroad ahead, they are also defining that there is a stop line and that the vehicle has to stop at this particular point. So, whatever is this type of information is required is being passed on to the driver. Here say this can be a one way street versus a major road. So, it is a most possibly an urban road scenario. So, in this urban road scenario, like it is talking what type of facility or what type of destination is there ahead. So, it says ISBT ahead in this direction. So, that is the way the things have been defined in different forms, and here then sign says that you have to stop because you are coming from a one way street and on a major road. So, stop is being provided, mandatory stop, look around, and then only you move. So, again based on the situation the things are changing. Here again there is another case of a T intersection, and this T intersection is possibly again on a rural highway, and that is where this type of an information is coming, which is trying to tell that if you are coming from here and you go either Agra or Delhi, if you are moving say left and right from here, or if you are coming from the other direction, then if you go straight you are going to Delhi. This is type of information which will be there on an expressways, where it tells that on which particular expressway you are. Then so this is a national highway portion of that, and this is an expressway symbol, and that defines that you are going to have some exits. So, expressway number is there, then the package numbers and the exit number is there. So, you are going to get a fifth exit so as to go for Surat or something. So, that is how different type of control measures can be there on any of the highway which needs to be provided. So, let us just quickly look at this requirement which we have also discussed previously, visibility requirements at intersections. We talked about it under the sight distances. So, the visibility when you talk about uncontrolled intersection is what is being shown here, where the traffic is moving at a design speed on this one and a design speed on this one, and with respect to that design speed there is going to be a safe stopping sight distance, and therefore, at this point which is a point of collision you are going to get a the triangle, and this triangle is a sight triangle which should be clear of any obstruction. That is where the obstruction is away from it. If this is not happening, then either we have to adjust the speed on this leg or on this leg or on both the legs, and accordingly the D1 and D2 are going to change, but then that has to be done. And so, the with respect to the trajectory, the distances has to be calculated, and then we have to find out that what can be done. Either the measures has to be done on one section or it has to be done on another section. So, that is what we are talking here. So, the area formed should be free of obstruction. If it is not free, then we have to make an area which is free, estimate the distances from the point and impose the speed limit if there is a requirement of doing that. So, the visibility distances at uncontrolled intersections in terms of SSD, they are there. For SSD, you know what is the relationship between the ISD and SSD, and based on that I leave it to you that you can fill the values in this one so as to get an idea that what should be that. This is a case of priority intersection, and in the priority intersection there is a minor road. On minor road, the minimum distance which needs to be there for a visibility is 15 meters, and then on the major road it is with respect to the traveled distance in 8 seconds, and that 8 seconds we discussed is related with the stopping of vehicle, looking at the opportunity, accelerating and crossing to the other side, and that is what 8 seconds are required. So, we get this sight triangle, and again this sight triangle has to be free of obstruction. So, if it is not free of obstruction, then again the remedial measures needs to be taken care of. So, in this case what you found is on the major road the distances are going to be like this. For 100 it is 220 and for 50 it is 110. So, they are roughly like 2.2 times of V, where V is the design speed. Okay, so this is how the visibilities can be ensured on uncontrolled or the priority intersections. So, with this we stop our interaction now, and we will be continuing with these attributes for intersection designs in our next interaction. Till then, thank you and bye.